Hi, welcome back to another TerranScapes video. In this video, I thought since I've got a little break between projects, I have a couple projects that will be coming to the channel pretty soon, but in the meantime, I thought one of the videos I'd like to shoot is a sort of review, sort of first look at a new product I'm trying out for weathering surfaces. The product is Sophisticated Finishes, and I'm going to show you a close-up of this. Sophisticated Finishes makes basically a two-part weathering product whereby one part is an acrylic paint basically with real metal shavings emulsified in the paint, and then after you apply that you apply a patina solution, which is either an acidic or a base. I'm still trying to research that. But the patina solution reacts with the metal and basically ages it in an accelerated fashion, very rapidly. So what I thought I would do is show you some of the preliminary experiments I've been doing with this, as well as show you a couple applications of it. I'm going to do a couple applications on a few pieces, and then we can see how that comes out. And I'll explain to you, I've done quite a few experiments and some of my concerns and some of my hopes for the product as well. So let's get up close, come over my shoulder, and you can take a look at what I'm working on, and we'll go from there. So hopefully the sound will be okay with this, since I'm kind of facing away from the camera, coming in over my shoulder. And I think I've shot something like this before, but I don't do this very often, so this will be a little experiment. Hopefully the people who've been asking for tutorials will find this somewhat along that line, although this is more of a review slash what I've learned so far. So first, just to go back over what we're looking at, Sophisticated Finishes has a variety of metallic colors that you can choose from. In this instance, I've selected the blonde bronze, but you're going to want to check when you look at the colors that they offer to see on their reactivity chart which patina solutions you can use with it. Many of them can be used with a variety of the solutions that they offer, although a few of the colors are a little bit more finicky. So what I wanted to go for was the patina green. Now, if you remember, I was working on this building for the GT, Unplugged GT, which is coming up next weekend. And I've been constantly trying out different techniques to try to patina this roof, and haven't really found a solution that I like. So my hope was, while I wait for, rumor has it that Model Mates will be coming out with a verdigris solution, and if you haven't seen my video on Model Mates, you should go back and take a look at it. There's the back finger. But while I'm waiting for that, I thought I would give Sophisticated Finishes a try, particularly because I can't see how anything that's supposed to actually age. Look at that little cherub there on that. Isn't that great? The effect looks fantastic, but one of my concerns is that it really looks best over a large surface, and this is actually a pretty, we're working with pretty small stuff for miniatures. So in any case, thought I'd give it a try. So before I show you the application, I just wanted to run through some of the experiments that I did. Basically, what I did is I took an off-cast. This is one of the pieces that I sell in cast and plaster. And I decided to use this because it has a lot of detail that I thought would be a nice way to see how the verdigris collects in pits and creases and at joins, and would also give me a sense of the overall depth of effect that it produces. What I did is I painted this entire piece with 2 coats. And I've made some notes on the bottom here. Oh, actually, sorry. I made 2 coats base. Then the last coat is the coat where you apply the patina, and you have to apply it while the paint is wet. That's a pretty key factor, because once it dries, the acrylic seals in the metallic pigment, and the patina solution cannot reach it. So you have to get it on there while it's tacky or wet. What I did then is, for my 3rd coat, I started at this end, painted towards the back, and then washed it with the patina solution. What I discovered, and actually there's been a little experiment on top of this, so bear with me. 2 things I observed. First, it was hard for me to know where I had applied the paint to, and I actually missed on the 3rd pass these little top vents. So like this one didn't really get any patina at all. You can see that in there. Second thing I noticed is that by the time I got to the back, the front had started to dry, and the initial patina effect, you can see here, is really almost non-existent. So I was thinking, you know, you're going to have to paint it in sections and be quick about the application to get a good, more even effect overall on the piece. Once I applied the solution to it, and I didn't get a very good effect, you can see in the back here, and we'll talk about this back in a second, some of the material collecting in some of the creases. See if I can give you a good close-up of that. But it wasn't very pronounced. So I actually went back and I re-washed this half of it with the patina solution and wanted to compare it to this half. And what happened, of course, is that the solution is almost of a water consistency, maybe even like an alcohol consistency, really. So it hit the cracks and it bled all the way across a lot of the seams. But I was able to keep it from, you know, getting onto this bar on this side versus this bar, and you can see that with a second application I did bring out the effect a little bit more, but it really didn't make a significant difference. So I think really you've got one shot when you go with this product, and if you don't get it right the first time, you know, you can buff it all back off, the patina that is, and then you could apply another coat and, you know, go for the effect again. So that was my first go. Then I decided, oh, actually, no, I'm sorry, the experiment was on the back. So, so actually, I did paint this half. I did a lot of it. I did a lot of experimenting on this. In any case, you know, by going over the second, I did get a decent effect on the front. You know, so wasn't sure. So what I did is then on the back, and we'll look at this half here first, is this is pretty small example here, but I painted this whole area very quickly and then washed it while it was almost wet. And the patina came out a little bit better. You know, when you look inside there, that's kind of a nice effect in there. But what I noticed is, you know, no effect here at all. I think I missed this when I painted it with the brass on the second time, the bronze, I mean. So again, I'm having trouble getting even coverage and knowing where I've applied it to make sure I've got that coverage done. So, all right, we're going to come back to this spot in a second. Then what I decided to do was two more experiments, and what I did is I took the paint on my second coat and I did a very heavy second coat to patina, and I actually kind of stippled it onto the surface to give it a lot of texture, a lot of surface area for the solution to react with it, and then washed it relatively quickly. And you can see the effect is much more pronounced. And in fact, here, you know, we get some pretty nice patina. Is that focusing? Oh gosh, this is the problem when I'm doing this backwards. All right, let me make sure this is in focus. If there were other previous segments that weren't in focus, forgive me. All right, so you can see, did a pretty good job. That's not too bad. But the effect on the top, it doesn't look right to me, right? I want to see the patina in the creases more than on the surface. Didn't quite hit that. There's the end, a little bit better. But overall, I felt like a little bit better of an effect. Then, as a you know, a simultaneous experiment with that, I took the patina solution, actually mixed it right into the pigment, and then applied that, thinking I would get maximum reactivity and it would flow. But interestingly enough, it gave a very muted, if at all, effect on the piece. So clearly you can't mix in the patina solution with the paint for the application and expect to get any kind of reasonable results. So, thinking this worked reasonably well, in focus, then I thought, if I'm going to be doing this piece here, I'm going to be really engaging a lot of very flat, smooth areas rather than this kind of high texture that you see on these blocks. And I was also concerned about the patina solution bleeding, running off, actually, because I will be flooding the area, and we'll see this in a few minutes, flooding the area with the patina solution, and so it's naturally going to probably drip down, and I was worried about it staining the overall paint job of the building in a way that I wouldn't, you know, really like. So I did one more experiment of a sort here, and you'll see this is split image-wise here. I'll give you a nice close-up of that. So let's ignore for a second this darker area. We're going to talk about that, but let's just look at this corner here. What I did is I picked a off-cast block. This block was just a little too shallow to use. This is from Herstart's, his schematic floor mold, I believe. And it has some nice broad surfaces on it with a little bit of detail. Gave it a nice quick coat. After, for the second coat, remember you need 2 coats at least. Second coat, gave it a wash with the patina, and it gave a pretty nice effect. Let me see, here I'll show you the back side. But see here still, there's that top ridge there that didn't get any effect at all. Either I forgot to paint that, or I didn't get the patina on it. It's one or the other. But in any case, you can see a pretty pronounced bluish patina, and this entire piece was basically relatively well hazed over. Now, the interesting thing about the effect is that because it is a natural effect, it is actually literally powdered oxidized metal, and you can just buff it off relatively easily. So I actually rubbed this off, and then you could see some of that stained bronze coming through, and you could then see that it retained the patina in the cracks, and that's nice effect. That's not bad. I'm getting encouraged here. So last thought before I embark upon the actual applications was, oh, whoops, one more. One more. You following me, right? Okay. Was then to apply it to a off-cast piece of pipe here from another Herstart's mold, and actually apply the patina in this direction so that it would actually run down. Now, when you take a look at this, what you're going to see, and hopefully it will show on the camera, I think it will, is that there is some yellow greenish staining where it ran down, but that kind of works. If you're going to have running water coming off of a patinaed roof, it's likely to produce that kind of an effect, so I'm not too worried about it running off. Also, an interesting note, here you can see probably the most concentrated effect that I've produced yet in my experiments. This, because it was sat upright like this, it collected more of the patina solution in there, which remained in there longer. I applied it very quickly after I painted it, and look at that nice powdery bluish color inside there. Let's see if I do that. There we go. It's all backwards to me here, so all right. Okay, whew, a lot going on here. So, last, I keep saying last, and I can't get to the last thing. There is an end to this. Then it occurred to me, you can use this patina solution on actual metal. Copper, bronze, I think silver, and maybe one other metal. I happen to have some copper plating. This is used for embossing art. I have a roll of this, and I've never used it for anything. And so what I decided to do was to take this, quickly emboss just a scribble on the back here. You can see the back side where it was embossed. Focus. There we go. And then what I did actually on the front is I buffed it with a very low grit sandpaper to make sure. I'm not sure whether this has been coated with any kind of a sealer, and that would prevent the patina reaction. So I just gave it a quick buff just for the experiment, and then put the patina over it. Now you can see that on true copper, pure metal, you get a very, very strong reaction, lots of interesting colors, blues, greens, darkened areas. That looks, I think, very interesting as a very quick experiment. And so I think you can expect to see me in the future come back with add-ons to terrain elements that have copper foil. I can emboss an interesting pattern on it for an emblem, something like that. Cut it to shape, and then patina that directly, and I think we can get some really interesting colors off of that. One thing I didn't try, so we'll do this on camera here, we're going to learn together, is how easy it rubs off on the actual copper. So let's just take a little look on the side here. Whoops, this is pretty soft plate here. Plate is it's a foil. I wouldn't even call it a plate. All right, so we can see here then actually with a little rubbing you can definitely start to get some of that off. I don't know if you can see the green on my thumb, but that gives you the kind of options of working with the embossed area to buff certain spots of it back to the original color, and give you quite a bit of control over the final appearance. So that's something to think about. By the way, buying this kind of copper foil is dirt cheap. You know, I mean, I think I got like, I don't know, a 2-foot roll that's like by 10 inches wide for probably like, I don't know, I bought this years ago, but let's call it $5. I don't know. All right, we'll call it 5. It's not that expensive. And the last experiment, and this is actually the last, was to attempt to seal it so that it would remain, you know, sort of protected from handling, basically. So what I did is I taped off this block diagonally, and then I applied to the dark half here, you see, there we go, that's a good look. So I'm going to move that around so you can see. I applied a Rust-Oleum gloss clear coat and then a Army Painter anti-shine over that to knock that gloss down, thinking that the gloss really will penetrate into the patina and lock it down and give it good protection. But you can tell it has a pretty strong deteriorating effect on the overall look of the patina, and Sophisticated Finishes does say on their website that sealing the finish will degrade its appearance. Basically, they have something to the effect of customers who seal their finished projects are often disappointed with the results, something like that. Then what I did is I taped off, here we go, I taped off this spot that I had done right down the middle, and on this side here I just used the Army Painter anti-shine. Now, I don't think it knocked down the effect as strongly as the gloss, but it still definitely drops it down. It mutes it, it darkens it, and takes quite a bit of the effect away. So I think going forward, it's going to be probably an effect that I won't seal, and we'll see how that goes. But you know, areas where it's going to be handled, you know, let's say this gets aggressive handling, you're going to be buffing off of the high points, and that's going to be kind of more realistic for the effect of a verdigris, where surfaces that receive a lot of contact, you know, show the exposed raw metal. And I think that would also hold true for even something up here where, you know, technically people are not going to be touching it, but you know, weathering areas are going to be closer to bare metal, and then we're going to have a stronger verdigris effect in the recesses, which should be protected from handling in general in any case. That's the thinking that I'm going to operate on, and I'm going to see how the building finishes, and this will go to the GT, and we'll see how it handles as well under some you know, packing and gaming conditions, and I'll be able to evaluate it further then. Alright, well, if you have stuck with me through all of that, then let's do the application, and you can see what this product looks like, and maybe I should zoom in. Let's try that. Okay, now I'm going to have to remember, because I'm not looking, that the area of effect is right above my palette. Okay, one thing they say is to shake the patina, not the patina, I'm sorry, the metal finish. Shake it really well, and they recommend that you shake it if you keep it in prolonged storage, even if you're not using it. Apparently, the metal filings are, you know, suspended in the acrylic medium. They will settle, and if they settle aggressively, you will get a sludge block of metal at the bottom that you can then not remix in. And I did see on some forum posts people mentioning that they had purchased bottles that were already in that state from like Michael's or some other kind of craft store like that. These I purchased from dickblick.com. It's an online craft retailer, and these came, I think, feeling, you know, this feels relatively fresh. It was pretty much pre-mixed when it arrived, and so I can at least say Dick Blick provides, at least in the blonde bronze color, I have trouble saying that, relatively fresh material. So let's do a small area first. I also coated the metalworking here on the door, and I also did, and we'll do this as well, the metalworking on the mausoleum here. So I'm going to try it on these as well, and we can see how that looks, and then we'll do the entire roof. My plan with the roof is to do it in sections. Well, we'll get there. So what does the Sophisticated Finishes look like? It basically has a consistency. I heard somebody on a YouTube post say that it is similar to GW foundation paint. Okay, it's a heavy acrylic. Let's just call it that. But it paints well off the brush. It has a very high pigment count, I guess as it should, because it's full of metal. But it gives a pretty good coverage. You know, if you want to push it around heavy as well, you can do that because it's the body. It doesn't sag very easily. What I like to do is pour a little. I probably shouldn't do this, but this is what I've been doing. Pour a little of the patina in the cup. Keep that right next to my palette, because I need to go from one to the other relatively quickly. You cannot, they say do not, go from the patina into the bottle. In fact, they say never go into the bottle of the metal solution, because if you have any of the patina, you'll contaminate the bottle and start the oxidation within the bottle itself. So you always decant onto a palette, and I always dispose of the patina solution in the trash before I recap it, so that if there are any metal particles in here, they don't reduce the pH inside. Technically, I should probably use another reservoir, but that's what I've been doing. So you got to have two brushes at the ready for it. And again, like I said before, you need to apply the coating as a second coat. The first coat will be the metal that will presumably stay metallic looking when the top oxidizes. Oops, sloppy. And I have been, because of my experiments, thinking I need to put on relatively heavy coats. So I am not stingy about this. Now, there might be concern about losing, I'm on camera, right? I am, not bad. About losing detail. Now, the rivets on this door are fairly shallow. They don't really protrude very prominently from the surface, and as a result, it'd be a good test to see about the preservation of detail. Oh, and I also keep, let's see if I can keep those in frame here. I also keep 2 cups of water. One is for my metallic brush, one is for my patina brush, and I don't cross-contaminate them. So, in frame, there it is. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to go right at it with the patina right now. This is still pretty wet, and in fact, when I try to apply the patina to this, it's going to move some of the paint around. So what I've been trying to do is flood it. I'm still on camera, right? I am. Okay, good. Is flood it without moving as much paint as I can. You know, but whatever. I move a little bit of paint, well, there's going to be some brass, some bronze. This is blonde bronze. I'm going to say that 17 times, and eventually it will stick in my head. Because I'm not concerned about whether my coating is even. I want a strong effect. You know, this is going to be some kind of it's going to be a product that you're going to need to really practice with and get working in the direction that you want to try to maximize the effect you're looking for. I don't think this is going to be something that you master straight off. So I recommend having a ton of off-cast plaster bits that practice on. But no, yeah, seriously, you can apply this product to cardboard, scraps of hardboard, anything, foam. It doesn't matter because it's acrylic. It's non-reactive with most things, and then you can practice that way. So we'll set that aside, and we're going to revisit that in a few minutes. The reaction does. Oh, this building's a little bit bigger, so let's make some space so you can see. The reaction is, oh, look at that. I almost did it. I almost mixed that. There we go. It's pretty quick. They say that it will take anywhere from, you know, a few minutes to a few hours to reach its effect. And that it will finish patina-ing, can I make up another word, overnight. In my experience, based on my initial experiment, the effect is fully achieved within about an hour. It may continue to progress very slightly, but I would not expect it to make radical shifts overnight. If you're not happy with it in an hour, you've got a problem that will not fix itself. Now, I just realized that this is a rather larger surface of area, so I am going to try to hustle on this paint job here. One thing on the instructions is that they say you have 3 to 15 minutes to apply the patina solution before the acrylic medium seals the pigment. I'm still on camera, right? Barely. Okay. Now, that varies depending on temperature, humidity, and whatever other factors could affect evaporation. So, air currents, that sort of idea. I have found that the tackier it gets, the less the effect is. I didn't really discuss that in my experimental section of this video, but basically, you know, if you think about it, the more it is cured, the more the acrylic medium is hiding that pigment away from the patina. So I recommend going in on the patina solution as quick as you can, but again, that will vary depending on the effect you're looking for. Now, this is not normally how I paint, just so you know. This is a special technique for the camera with sophisticated finishes, because I feel like I'm a little rushed and a little sloppy here. Now, on this, what I'm going to do, just to see, still on camera, just barely, here we go, is I'm going to stipple this just a little bit. I'm going to try to get some of that texture that I put on the brick, and we'll use that as a comparison to the smooth application on the door on the round tower. The other thing that's kind of nice about this is this also kind of really churns up, if you will, the surface of the paint, so that if it was starting to skin over or something like that, right, I can be assured I'm getting some fresh paint exposed. My hope is that this is going to come out a little chunky, and with that increased surface area, I'm going to get a deeper patina effect from the solution. Alright, now, give you a quick look at that. That is pretty textured. You see all that texture? Luckily, this building is also for the GT, so I get a little flexibility in how it comes out. If it's not, you know, the ideal piece that I had wanted, you know, it's still going to look great for the GT. All right, so I'm going to blow on that just a little bit, just to get it to set for a second, and then let's get that patina solution on there. I'll move this over here so we're in camera. I'm in camera, right? Close enough. All right, here we go. You'll notice I'm using a, I forget what this is. This is a number 2 synthetic brush, but the thing I was looking for with it was a big bristle reservoir, so I could store a lot of patina solution in it. You know, this has a long tip and it's going to hold a lot of liquid. Now you'll notice, hopefully you can see it at that distance, this patina solution is just running down the length there, which is fine with me. Like I said, I want to flood it, and quite frankly, if the patina solution carries over into the surrounding wood areas, I am going to actually be fine with that. I think that would help, you know, make the effect look a little bit more realistic, like the oxidized metal is washing off onto the surrounding wood. So we'll see. We'll see here. I'm going to flood it from the top here. Trying to keep this in frame, I hope. Like I said, I've never done this really before, so this is why I don't do tutorials while I'm covering this, because I want to do them really well, and this I don't feel is really well. It's probably adequate, but I would like to do much better camera work on future tutorials if I go to that route. So hopefully you'll understand that when I say I don't have time for them. It's because I don't want to set them up like this and have half the shot off camera. All right, so I'm going to let that sit. While that's sitting, let's take a look at the first door. All right, let's take a look at that. We are definitely starting to get that reaction. It is darkening, and I'm starting to see just a hint of the blue, white, gray coming through. Interestingly, even though I thought I got this upper ridge of all of these spots, it does look concentrated in the middle, and I'm wondering if that's because the patina, what's the word I'm looking for, surface tension, right, is pulling it in away from the corners, and therefore not getting as even an effect. Still, these would be the areas where it would rub off. We'll wait, and we're going to set that down, and we're going to come back to that in a few minutes after I do some more work on the tower. Oh, well, I guess we'll turn it around so we don't look at it. On the tower roof. So this is, I'm more nervous about this. So one of my thinkings for larger surfaces like this, because you need speed of application, is you need to go in with a bigger brush. You're going to need to get that metallic surface material, the metallic paint on there quickly, and then a nice brush with a lot of patina solution in it so that you can get broad coverage to try to create a uniform effect on the surface. I'd hate it if like these two panels looked awesome and then this panel had no verdigris on it, right? That's not going to look right. So I'm going to be trying to create as even an effect as possible. They do say that that is a little bit difficult on the website, as they say it's a natural process. It's a natural process, and it will vary every time you apply it. Okay. You just missed it. George came by. My camera shut off. We'll see why. Is it low battery? It might be. All right. I'm going to try and paint as much as I can before I start getting worried about areas that are drying. So we'll see. This is going to be a speed job here. And they say do not cut the metallic finish because I'm assuming it will reduce the pigment count and deteriorate the overall effect. So we're gonna blast through this. Let's see what we can do here, because I would like to do this all in one go. I said to myself before I began this that I would not try to do it all in one go, and here I am looking at it and thinking, hell yeah, let's go. So we're gonna just really blast this out, which is probably good. No, that was from the first coat, which is probably good for the video since this is running long. Hopefully some of you are eating your lunch and watching this, and rather than taking time out from work to watch this. Not to say that I don't take time out from work to watch videos, but my boss understands. Alright. Oh, am I going to have enough? I'm not going to have enough. But you know what I'm going to do is once I get covered, okay, click, click, click. Wasting material. I do think having, now the coat I'm going on here, I'm going to go around this twice. Oh, that's George. It's not a very good view of him. Maybe I'll show you a better view of him after this. I think a thick coat is actually very beneficial also, especially when it's relatively uncured, because I think there's more metal for it to react to. So, you know, my initial experiments were actually relatively thin coats, and we're going to go back over this real quick, twice. I'm going to slop on some more. I'm not going to be shy about the coverage here. Let's just really coat this up. Let's get it done. Let's get it done quick. And I even have an idea working on this. Hi, George. Hello. I always say there's a cat hair in every TerranScapes product. Okay, get your tail out. Get. Alright. So that's going around twice. I've really pooled it up. In fact, just to see what the effect is, I'm going to... Get. Cats. I'm going to pool it in some of these recesses here, so that we can see if I can really exaggerate that effect where I want it most, which is in these areas where water would collect. Oh, I'm probably off camera. Where water would collect and that verdigris would build up much more strongly. All right, let's get covering this here. It occurred to me that if I flood it from an upside down position, excess patina will flood to the dome top, and by rotating it and flooding it, I have a good chance of getting a pretty high amount of material on there, and hopefully getting a really good effect. I don't know, we'll see. Now part of me says I probably should have waited for this to just set up a little bit, but I'm really hoping for a strong effect. One thought I had, actually, and I may do this if this doesn't come out right in the future, is to use a small spray bottle, and then you could just mist it, and then you could get you know, probably a much better, more even coverage, and much more quickly. So that is something to think about for the future. Alright, now because ceiling frame, iron frame, because it is hard to tell whether everything has been covered, I am trying right now to look at the glossiness, the glint, if you will, of the wet surface and see if that can show up a dry area. I don't know. We'll see if I got even coverage. It'll be a little experiment, you know. This is experiment 15 for this product. But that's how you learn. That's how you learn. Alright. So, I'm going to let that sit, and I think what I'm going to do is get off camera here, and we'll come back to these in 20 or so minutes, maybe a half an hour, and take a look. But before I leave, just so you can see the continual progress here, here is the door, and I will do my best. It looks a little washed out on the camera to color correct it, but you can see that verdigris is starting to come in pretty strong. Like I said, this really sets up in about, my estimate, you know, and it's probably dependent on the temperature, you know, anywhere from a half an hour to an hour, it's pretty much done. So let's set that aside. I'll shoot another video while I wait for that to finish, and we'll come back to it. Here I've got my excess patina here. I just dump it in the trash, and in fact I see some metal particles in there still. I'm just going to give them a little swirl. No, I don't think that's too bad, but I'll just clean that out. Alright. Back in a minute. So, back. It's been about a little over an hour, I think. I got distracted, and I'll tell you why in just a second. First, let's take a close look at the mausoleum door. Now, that really picked up a lot of verdigris, but notice somehow I missed this tip here, and I missed this tip here. I don't know why that didn't get any effect. I don't know. You watched me, so you probably saw it. Did I paint it or not? I don't know. I'll have to go back and look when I edit it and see, did I miss that or did it just not react? So that's kind of interesting. Now, it actually has quite a modeled pattern that in some ways, you know what's interesting? If you look up in this corner, let's see if I can get that in the light better. Get that up nice and close. It almost looks like a lichen rather than verdigris because of that stippling I did. I don't know if that's something I would pursue again, but it was interesting to do that. And again, one of the nice things about it is if I don't like it, you know, you can buff it off and knock it down a bit and really bring it back if you want, you know, like here on this step, right? If I want to buff that metal back and then it's trapped a little bit more and I can knock that down. So that's one of the nice things about this product is you can really, you know, manipulate it even after it's cured to get a different effect if you don't like it initially. And actually, that's not too bad. I might go in and wipe out just a little more in a couple areas, but actually, you know what? Let's just, what the heck? You guys are here. If you've stuck with me this long for this, you deserve to see it relatively done. Let's just rub that off a little bit here. I've never done this before, so we're all learning together here. There we go. Now look at that. Look at that. That is not bad looking. Not bad at all. And we have to assume that the material that's left is going to be hard to rub off because I just did, all of that abrasive work on it. So that's not too bad. Very interesting. Okay, let's set that aside and let's look at the door on the small round tower. Now that was pretty much cured last time I showed you. Again, it looks a little too strong, so I'm just going to buff that a little bit with my thumb here. Let's knock that back a little bit and highlight that top edge a little bit. I don't know. I'll let you be the judge. It's not too bad though. I think if I had any concerns about it, it's the color. It's a little bit brighter than what I think we expect on a miniature scale. Not sure, but that's my that's my instinct a little bit. It also seems like the patina solution has washed onto the wood and stained it a little. Now, the reason I'm paying attention to that, besides the effect on the door, is I have an idea about how to potentially fix this roof. So let's talk about the roof here. The roof is pretty mottled. Now, that may not, I don't know, that may sit well with some people, but as somebody who wants to control the effect as much as possible, so that then I can determine how it comes out. Of course, Sophisticated Finishes says it's hard to control, basically. I am not entirely pleased with that result. Now, here's some interesting things, though. Let's take a close look. In this spot here, where I'm assuming the paint was particularly thick, if you remember, I went in and really blobbed some paint on some areas. That picked up some very interesting greens in there. Really, really interesting green. Really bringing that deep copper verdigris out. I like that. That's really interesting to me. At first I didn't really like the way this came out at all, and now it's sort of growing on me, but I think I would want to, buff it out a little bit the way I did the door. So we're just going to do that, because if I don't like it, I can just repaint it. That's the beauty of this. I could wash it all off and then go back in and really redo the entire effect if I want. Alright, so let's take a little of that off. And let's see. Well, I don't like it still, but it looks better and it gives me some ideas. One of the things that I'm suspecting, again, I'm not entirely sure, is that these are spots where maybe the paint was wet, but the patina solution did not flow onto. Therefore, it still looked glossy to me, but I couldn't tell where I had covered it and where I hadn't. And it just struck me that if I sprayed it with a small atomizer, I could evenly soak it relatively quickly. And even if it's missing spots, it'll be a speckled pattern. It might look really interesting. So, while this was curing, I went back to Dick Blick and I ordered a couple small atomizer bottles. And I think that's going to be the next attempt to try that. If that comes in before the GT, I'll redo this. And if it doesn't come in before the GT, I might just let this ride for now. But it's something that I'd like to experiment with on other surfaces, even on a small surface, like the door. I could paint this, then spritz the whole area, and if it's going to stain the wood, then the whole area is going to be soaked, and that's going to be okay. It will add a little bit of an aging effect to that as well. Here, I'm going to see, hopefully this is going to show, and it might show even a little bit better further away than it does up close. You can see here where the patina solution has run, and it's carried some of that verdigris down a little bit. But that's okay, I don't mind that. And more importantly, the patina solution doesn't seem to have harmed the paint at all. And that's important to me, because if I'm going to be spraying it all over the place, I want to make sure that it's not going to be damaging to the other surfaces that I've put it on. So, at least it gives you an idea of what the product does and some of the caveats, and hopefully you'll see me revisit this with a slightly refined technique in the hopefully not too distant future, as again with the copper foil. And there's a lot of options for how to work with these materials to get some interesting effects, and I think it's going to take some practice and a little creativity to get the most out of them. So hopefully you enjoyed taking a look at this. Sophisticated Finishes, they have a website, sophisticatedfinishes.com, I think, or something like that. Google it, you'll find it in a second. It is sold in other places, craft stores and things like that. I would not recommend this for somebody who is not willing to do a little extra work and play with it. Obviously you can see I'm not entirely happy with my initial results, but I think I can work around it, and I think with a spray bottle and some other practicing with the applications and the timing of applying the patina and the thickness of the paint, I think I can get a pretty nice effect out of this product. So keep an eye on the channel, and next time I use it, once the spray bottles come in, I'll definitely revisit it and give you another look at it and see if I was able to sort of overcome some of these preliminary hurdles. But at least it gives you an idea of the kind of process I go through when I get something new, the kinds of experiments that I do to try to tease out, how best to get something out of a product. So, if you have any kinds of finishes that are similar to this, I did see another patina finish out there from another company that seems very similar in the kind of composition, where it's a two-part solution. One's an aging solution, one's a metallic surfacer. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but if anybody's worked with any of these products and they've got tips, please feel free to put them in the comment section down below. I and the other viewers, I'm sure, would be really grateful to hear about that. So this is a long one, so thank you for taking the time to stick with me to the end if you did, and keep your eye on the channel. I will definitely be back soon, as I have a couple other videos to shoot in the very near future that I think you'd enjoy. So talk to you then.